YouTube, what's going on? It's Neburos, and we're back with another video doing some revs. Says Desu this time. I wish I didn't have to see this man's stupid face, but um, I suppose it is what it is. I didn't choose the screen, so thanks for that, Rev. Um, link to the original video will be down below. Be sure to check it out if you want to, and comment, like, subscribe, one or all three, and let's get into it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rip here. So who would have thought about a month ago Hassan shocking his dog live on Twitch would have this massive trickle-down effect where basically all the orbits around him and also the LA streaming scene generally would just start to collapse. People exposing one another, people exposing themselves, showing the kinds of people these streamers are. These very disingenuous, virtue signaling liars in many cases. And today is really no different.
It's pretty normal with people like these. The minute you go into, the minute you break their approved messaging, the minute you step outside of the, for want of a better term, party line, you're pretty much expendable to them. They've got no problems throwing you under the bus, denouncing you, tainting you. And that's why it's a mistake to get involved in anything like that, because it happens for both sides. It's not a good situation.
See at one point, Valkyrie shaming her friend live for being white. Yes, that is the level of virtue signaling we've gotten to.
She knows that we don't really have a say in that. Hey, like, I'm sure that some people would choose to be a different racial group if they had the option.
At this point, but let's back up here. The majority of this video is going to be focusing on cutie Cinderella and some drama involving her. If you don't know, she is Ludwig's girlfriend, which
I didn't know
makes
who she was,
sense,
but
as
I've
we'll
seen
see
her
in a
before.
couple of minutes. But anyways, she's been under some fire recently for comments she made about Collargate, where she came out in her attempt to defend Hassan, but instead confirmed many things that people were believing about the situation and contradicted Hassan by saying there was tape on the collar and also that it was a shock collar with the prongs removed. And of course, she is on a podcast with him, so that's pretty awkward. They've been on this podcast together for a very long time. And there was a situation where Cutie Cinderella went on I guess, a Discord call with this individual, Vanilla Mace, who I only discovered about a month ago, and I wish
Never heard of her.
because everything we see from her is just insufferable. But
Oh God.
Cutie
Well, she
had
has
a
that look.
conversation live with this individual, and they were talking about many things for context before we see the clip, where they were talking about the phase boys and some people believing that they're homophobic and transphobic and all these awful things. And basically the conversation is, what do you do with people like that in your life? Do you continue collaborating with them? Do you continue talking to them? And eventually Cutie Cinderella...
Well, for most of these people who throw accusations of like homophobic and transphobic and whatnot, in many cases it's a case of if you're breathing, you are these things because they've decided as such. And besides which, I find it very strange that Cutie Cinderella is trying to defend her son for anything. It's like he's a big boy. He's probably a monumentally bigger than she is in terms of his following and audience and whatnot. So. The idea of defending him is kind of stupid, I think, and totally unnecessary. He's not going to pay you back for that at all. He's not going to reciprocate at all, no matter what you do.
Starts talking about her dad, who she believes is transphobic at times, but she says, despite that, and despite how I criticize that, I still want him in my life. And that got her canceled.
Which is fine. That's normal, isn't it?
You guys can say that. You can say to me, no, you're supporting it. I'm not. I don't support that my father is transphobic at times. I don't support that. I'm not. I don't support it. Period. The end. But I still love my dad, and I'll go to coffee with him tomorrow. But I don't support that.
Yeah, that sounds completely normal and reasonable.
It's not as black as white as everyone thinks. Like, you guys... You can't fight hate with hate. It doesn't get you anywhere. It literally does not get you anywhere. Like, it's so important to, like, as someone who's very open-minded, to be around closed-minded people and show them that it's okay to be open-minded is actually one of the most important things you can do. Like, as a human, at the end of the day, if I'm around a racist person, I'm just not racist. I'm not. Me, I am not. They are, yes. But how am I supposed to help them ever? By cutting them off? No.
So right after that conversation
Yeah, and what's
concluded,
it
there
to
was a
you
bunch of
anyway?
clips going viral on social media, calling her a racist, saying she won't drop racists out of her life and that she's privileged and all these things. They were going.
There's a difference between dropping racists out of your life and dropping family out of your life because you think they're racist or transphobic or whatever. Like, say what you want, but you know what? That man is part of the reason, in this particular case anyway, that man is part of the reason she's alive. So, you're gonna drop your dad because you think maybe he's a certain way? No, come on. That's ridiculous and stupid.
After Cutie Cinderella and anyone she was associating with, right? And what she said in that clip, in that stream, was what a normal person says.
Yeah.
Okay, there is something very dysfunctional and, quite frankly, alarming about people who will cut someone out of their life, including a family member, if they do any sort of transgressions, right? They have any sort of fault to them or something you disagree with, and now you're expected to cut them out entirely.
Well, that's because you're not allowed, like I said earlier, with these kinds of people, you're not allowed to have different opinions. You're not allowed to have different ideas. You're not allowed to say anything that goes against their approved messaging. That's the reason why.
Encountered people like this in my own life, and honestly, if they cut you off like that, it's probably for the best, because anybody who's willing to drop you out of thin air, including a family member over whatever, is probably someone you don't really want to associate with anyways. But what she said here is something I think a lot of people would agree with, but in that side of the scene, in that sort of LA streamer world, and the fans that people like Cutie Cinderella and all these people involved have attracted, they are insane. They are insane. The purity test keeps getting higher and higher and higher to the point where you can't even have a family member you can associate with if they have anything that is problematic about them. And this girl, this Vanilla Mace individual who was sitting there nodding her head and agreeing with a lot of the stuff, she did a complete 180 after she saw her fans starting to go after her. So she came out and made this statement basically about all the subject matter, saying, you know who I am, and basically threw Cutie Cinderella under the bus.
Simply didn't agree with it. I was uncomfortable. Obviously, as you could see in the clips, you know who I am. You know what I stand for. If you're someone who's been watching me,
Okay.
you already know. If you're a first-time chatter and you're just joining off of clips that you've seen on TikTok and you don't know shit about me or shit about shit, then of course I'm going to assume that you're just going to make the assumptions that you're going to make. But people who know me and know my character and know what the I stand for know how I'm going to go about this.
This sounds like a lot of CYA. Like, oh no, people might think I'm a terrible person because I didn't, because of this situation. It's like, frankly, darling, not many people actually care, I should think. But you do, which kind of tells me a little something. My dad told me this. Race only matters to racists.
So I am simply stepping back from everything, everyone. Gonna touch a little grass.
I want to scale back this.
So I just hear that, and what I hear is narcissism, honestly. Oh, I'm so important. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I thought about this, and I wasn't comfortable about that. And it's all about me, 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 me. I'm all for taking responsibility, in which case that's appropriate. But I mean, damn, no one cares if you're going to touch grass. No one cares if you're going to take a step back. Yeah, so her audience was giving her a bit of grief. They'd be like, she didn't have to go on the apology tour and be like, you know who I am and what I stand for, and because frankly, the people who are really fans and the people who are really there to see her, and although I can't imagine why they would, um, they wouldn't be saying stuff like that. So
second, like you might be saying, like, why are they talking about the boys from FaZe? What is so wrong with them that they're being labeled as like homophobic, transphobic, racist,
are they breathing?
etc., etc. And this is really the only clip I could find where this person, this very normal person, says, look at the positive effect that Cutie Cinderella had on the FaZe boys. Her approach to being a SLGBTQI plus what? I'm losing
Uh,
track on the letters they're using these days, but then they
the
go and
alphabet
they
people.
try to say ally. That didn't really work out too well, but they're basically saying that she's guilty by association and she's homophobic here because these guys are making jokes. Like, if this is too much for you, if this is like breaking you or upsetting you, like I don't know, like get off the internet. Like I don't
Get
really know what else to tell you.
get yourself some real problems, my man. Yeah. If this is what you're wringing your hands over and clutching your pearls over and be like, oh my god, I can't sleep because of it, get some real problems.
That
Nobody
soft,
cares.
but that's really what they're basing all of this on. This little clip of them like goofing around, and now anyone who associates with them is every single phobe and ist they can think of.
Yep.
And some of the people like Stable Ronaldo, he came out and he talked about this and pointed out the virtue signaling of all of this, how fake people like Vanilla Mace are, because they're saying these things, throwing FaZe and Cutie Cinderella and people like that under the bus for all these reasons, but she still associates with FaZe herself. She goes to their events, she hangs out with them, she wishes them well, and all of a sudden, because her audience made her, because she's so audience captured, she has to please them at every turn. She's now turning around and basically cutting all these ties with people she had no problem with until like yesterday, because her base told her to have a problem with it.
Of course, I'm gonna assume that you're just gonna make the assumptions that.
So this person was literally at Silky's birthday. You've asked Adapt to collab. You've been with Jason a ton of times, collabed or whatever, been around. You're at Jason's concert. You literally have talked to me off stream saying, "Oh, blah blah blah, like how are you, blah blah, you're killing it, blah blah." I literally saw you 2 days at Silky's birthday, and you were on my stream with Cutie Cinderella, and you were. I'm pretty sure she was at our 4th of July party, but because you're seeing tweets on the internet calling us transphobes, racists, whatever it is, I don't even know the words they're saying. Now it's oh yeah, I'm uncomfortable with her statements. You were not uncomfortable with your statements. You're literally just anything your community says. You realize you're like what? You have a filter. It seems like what are you doing?
You're going to make.
She literally was
Yeah.
so nice to us. I'm so confused. And now she's saying she's agreeing with people and that she's uncomfortable with what Cutie's saying. What is?
But people who know.
It seems like
Because she has to, otherwise her own community and audience will devour her. And they will cancel her into utter irrelevance, and she'll never be where she is ever again.
be whatever your community.
That's the price you pay when you start pandering to your audience and start trying just doing whatever and anything for your views.
He says you get worried about. You get worried about what your community says because that's how you make your money. And you have
Yeah.
to do it exactly what they say. You don't. This isn't real fans, by the way. Fans aren't just fans for holding you accountable. Fans are people that support you and understand your point of view or your statements. Anything that your community says, it seems like you just agree with instantly. How are people going to call us homophobic and transphobic? We've never even. What have we done that's anywhere near that? We saved the gay dude from killing himself, for God's sake.
No, like seriously, imagine being friends with someone like this who will literally just throw you
Oh
under the
god,
bus for
the glasses. Yeah, the glasses.
being a normal person.
Why is it
That is
always
what
the...
Cutie Cinderella is being canceled for in this context. It's for being
Jeez.
a normal person and understanding the world is a little more than just black and white. And what he said.
Yeah, what these people will maybe... what they should learn is that life is more often grey than it is dark, black or white. So, Obi-Wan said it, only a Sith works in absolutes. And, yeah, these people, I would I would classify it as a lack of maturity on their part, to be honest.
In that clip too about her just being completely like locked into the will of her audience. Her audience owns her, and that's true with a lot of these crowds because they're so woke and they're so progressive that they keep raising the purity level, right? They keep upping the stakes to the point where if they step out of line at all, they're going to get absolutely crucified
Yep,
by the audience they have
yep,
attracted with that sort of behavior. Now, the
it's true.
irony of this is we're going to transition over to some comments made by Valkyrie. She's getting canceled too, and I think that's why she came out with this clip we're about to watch. But yeah, the irony is she's throwing Cutie Cinderella under the bus as well for what seems to be very racist reasons, by the way. But she's getting canceled too because she also associates with Faze. And this clip didn't save her. Let's take a quick look at what Valkyrie had to say about her friend, Cutie Cinderella.
I did tell her, I was like, Cutie, I do think your tone doesn't help because you inherently sound really angry all the time. You sound really, and she knows. I was like, you're very blunt. I think it's your tone, you're blunt, and it just comes off poorly, especially, and I was like, you're also the whitest woman I know.
Have
And
you looked in the
also
mirror,
just,
Valkyrie?
you being so white, it doesn't help. It doesn't help, but
I can't stand the level of arrogance and condescension going off here. I don't know if I'm reading that differently to how most other people would interpret it, but um, yeah, she comes across as very arrogant and condescending to me, and it bothers me.
like I know her heart. It's just because she wants to help, but I feel like there's ways we can do it better.
I also want to point this out in case you're not aware. This is Hassan Piker's girlfriend. This is the secret girlfriend he kept hidden for many years, and it was recently exposed that
Well,
they
there's
had been
no
dating
accounting for
because he
taste,
wanted to
at least on
let his
her
fan
part.
base get the impression that he was single and somehow attainable, so they would keep simping for him. But it came out that they had been dating for quite some time. And I got to say, after watching that clip, they're a perfect match. They
Yep.
deserve each other. I mean, it's phenomenal. They deserve each other. But this whole clip is an absolute mess. First of all, she keeps saying, white girl this, white girl that. What are you supposed to be?
Yeah.
Am I
Do you
crazy?
own a mirror?
Like, I'm sitting here, I'm pretty sure I have more complexion than this girl does, but she's talking about white people like they're the most evil thing in the world. Like, let's make it very
That's because to people like her, white people are the most evil thing in the world. Never mind that never mind the fact that in a very big way, white people are responsible for civilization as we know it. No, it's white people who are the evil ones.
clear. Uh, the anti-racists have done it again. I love this meme. The anti-racists have come out and said the most racist thing you could possibly
Ace
think of.
Ventura.
If you treat someone differently or somehow criticize them for the color of their skin, you are racist. Let's make that very clear. So,
Yeah, so I've said before, if the only thing I have to do to make a statement like it's been used against me, white people are a cancer and need to be killed. If the only thing I need to do to make that sentence racist is change the word white to black, then it's racist. I don't care who the demographic is being targeted. That's just how it works.
what she's saying here is absolutely ridiculous. So ridiculous. And also, I want to go a step further for Valkyrie here. The quote that Cutie Cinderella was referring to, where she said basically, more hate does not cancel out hate. That can be contributed to a lot of different people in history, but one of the most famous people to have that quote lined up with them is Martin Luther King Jr. So Valkyrie, about 70 years ago when he made this quote, was he being too white for you? We got to check in with Valkyrie. She is the arbiter of who's allowed to speak on what issues. So was he being a little too white when he said that? Interesting.
That is how she
I
came
can't wait
across,
for her
yeah. Like I
response. And
said,
also,
arrogance and
I'll bring this up. It doesn't matter. They're not going to do anything. But In case you are wondering, what she said clearly violates Twitch's TOS when it comes to hateful conduct. Okay, it's obvious when you're degrading someone and basically shaming them for the color of their skin. Yeah, I think that
And note that it doesn't actually turn around and specify which color skin, which race, ethnicity, color, caste, national origin, immigration status, etc. It doesn't specify as to what, which means that it doesn't matter to whom you are being that you are doing that. It literally is again. It literally covers everybody, irrespective of race. You just don't target people uh, based on things like that.
breaks this rule. But we all know nothing's going to happen. But
Yeah, for
in
sure.
response to clips of her saying that going viral and she was getting dunked on and called a racist, she made a panic tweet last night that she quickly deleted, where she said there's nothing wrong with having conversations with friends and helping them understand where they're privileged.
You assume that they need help understanding anything. Again, the level of arrogance.
Comes from in regards to situations they may not have personally experienced that others suffer from in lots of privilege.
And let's be clear here, Valkyrie, you don't suffer from anything. Maybe from success, I don't know. But what was it? Where's it? Um, comes from understand whether comes from in regards to situations they may not have personally experienced that others suffer from. You've never experienced anything like that either, so you can shut your mouth.
Obviously comes from being white. Never thought I'd be accused of being racist against white people when the clip is clearly out of context. Anyways, yeah, blah blah blah, copency.
I don't
And
think
she'll
it's
delete this,
out of
and
context, honestly.
you just look at tweets like this, and it's like, no.
See, I would never delete it because somebody's got a screenshot of it. Somebody's always got a screenshot of it somewhere. So there's no point deleting it. I'd rather just stick to my guns then and turn around and say, well, try to explain it, maybe, or, you know, but there's no point deleting it because, like, if I ever get to that point, someone's going to have a screenshot of it. So there's no, like, why delete it then? Because that just makes it look like you don't actually have the backbone to stand with what you say and believe. And especially if people have in it's not the case in this particular situation, but if they have misinterpreted it.
We're not doing this anymore. This is not 2020. You're not going to sit here with your word salad and you're going to say things about privilege and clip being out of context. The context is all there. You treat people differently because of the color of their skin. In fact, you basically associate it with being wrong. Like there's something wrong with her being white in that clip. And yeah, if she said that comment about any other race, she'd be canceled. All of her friends would call her racist, and that's the way it would be. So the uh, the irony here and the hypocrisy is glaring. But like I said, she deleted that post, but she did not delete, or at least someone got a screenshot before she did, of this reply where she said, "I am half white, and I have lots of privilege in where I was born and being financially stable. I don't take that for granted."
Yeah, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. So what, you're supposed to apologize? Your parents had money? That you grew up in a good household? Sure, some people aren't that lucky, but why should you feel bad about that? Really, that just smacks of sort of white savior concept, being upset and trying to virtue signal about it.
And it's good to be aware of it. She says it like I'm half white. She's saying like she's half demon or something. Like you don't have to confess your ethnicity to us. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's just so weird for someone also to be so self-hating, or at least half self-hating in this case. But yeah, this isn't looking good, and people are just not buying it whatsoever. And we're tired of the privilege word salad. It's just like enough is enough. And the other part of this video is the part where I'm going to criticize Cutie Cinderella, because as the as the girlfriend of Jellywig, as people call him because he has the vertebrae of a jellyfish. He's quite spineless when it comes to things he says. She unfortunately might have caught a little bit of that herself, where in response to everything, she has apologized to the people she's hurt.
Yeah, I heard
I'm not
about this.
apologizing, and I am
She
sorry
should
for
never have
like,
apologized.
the hurt that I've caused people.
The hurt that you caused people who would have been offended, who are probably offended by the fact that you're breathing, or in, something else. I couldn't say, but yeah, you're apologizing. Apologizing for this basically says that she was wrong, and she was absolutely not wrong at all. She was completely rational, 100% normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But now she apologizes for it.
I'm really sorry. Like, again, if you don't want this apology, then it's not for you. And clearly you're not hurt, but I'm apologizing to people that I've hurt, and that's important to me. So if you're a part of the queer community and I've hurt you, I am sorry. If you are a person of color who I've hurt, I am sorry. I am. I really am.
Sorry, darling. Once again, anybody from the queer community who was hurt by what you said is probably hurt by literally anything. So your apology doesn't matter to them anyway. So you just wasted words, really.
I think the way I was wording things was very like irresponsible and wrong,
No, it wasn't.
and I'm sorry.
Yeah, this was not the move whatsoever. Unfortunately, this is what people do. They apologize to the mob, who's never going to forgive you. The people who are angry at Cutie Cinderella, they are never going to forgive her. She is forever going to be a racist,
Transphobe.
racist, and all these
Yep.
things. They will never change their mind. Eventually, you just got to rip the band-aid off and understand this is the reality. These people are going to hate you forever because that's the way they are. That's the problem with communities like hers that are either a part of or adjacent to Hassan's community and the orbiters that follow him around. This is the audience they have cultivated.
Yep.
And they're insane. You'll never please them. And the second they see weakness like this, like apologizing, they're going to use it to their advantage, and they're going to further pick on you, and they're going to up the ante more and more and more, and they're going to mistreat you more and more and more. This just wasn't worth doing. But you know what? I don't think there's anything like malicious about this. I just think it was a mistake. But that's my opinion. The only other thing she did that I think was very stupid, and it came out during the same time as all this, apparently she had a stream where she did a karaoke section, and she wasn't too embarrassed or uncomfortable to do it live in front of thousands of people, but apparently she was uncomfortable with a VOD of it being released or something. And someone in her chat said that they saw someone on Twitter re-upload the VOD with her karaoke in it, and she basically said, I'm going to pass this off to my lawyers, and I'm going to DMCA them, right? She's going to take
I wouldn't have done that.
And the timing just wasn't good. I think it's just this was a dumb thing to do, and she tried to explain, saying basically she's insecure about singing. I don't know, but that was just kind of another thing that happened during all this. Basically, this whole thing is a gigantic mess, and
Yeah, in that case, I'm sorry, people have the capacity to clip and VOD your videos and whatnot, and yeah, you can turn around and say, please don't do anything with it, but ultimately it's up to them. I would have just, if I was her and it bothered me that much, I would have done something quietly, not announcing it at all. Yeah, just a bad move. I don't know if my situation, if what I would have done is any better, but yeah.
Unfortunately, I think Cutie Cinderella's had a very eye-opening experience realizing the types of people she's around and the audiences they have cultivated and how that is all playing out. Because, man, sometimes you got to see the reality for what it's worth. These people in these communities are insane. They truly are.
Yep.
And we live in a time on Twitch where people can just be openly racist and they think they're the good guys.
Only to white
And
people.
It's upside down world. and they truly
We're
believe
living in
that
the
they are
upside down
some
now. We're
great
living in the
progressives.
upside down.
And well, they're not. They're so progressive, they're actually regressive.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
that's going to do it for this video. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming out of this, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, please leave your comments about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Rev. Take care, man. Thanks for the video. Yeah, so I want to close off the video with a quote from Christopher Hitchens. And he said, "Those who are determined to be offended will discover a provocation somewhere. We can never possibly adjust enough to please the fanatics, and it's degrading to make the attempt." So just figure out who your group is, and if you get the sense that you've got to be a certain way 100% of the time, that you've got to agree with them 100% of the time, I'd say get out, because that's not the place for anyone who may have different opinions, but who will get crucified for them. But that's going to do it for this video as well. Take care, everybody. Streams, probably we're doing RE4 again tonight, I think. I haven't really decided just yet, and I need to get a move on because it's about 4 hours until then. So, yeah, we may do stream tonight. Otherwise, it's going to be Saturday. I think I'm raiding tomorrow night and Friday night. So tonight might be the best time to stream. Otherwise, it's like 3 days between. I don't want to leave it that long. Anyway, take care, everybody. Have a good night. Check link to the original video will be down below, as I said. Check out poggers and whatnot for your gamer fuel. Starforge your gear with Starforge. Help me out, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Cheers.